I'm Gabe, and this is John. We make beer. Today we're brewing up an India Pale Ale using malt extract and specialty grains. Check it out. We're going to run you through a standard 5-gallon batch of homebrew. So you're going to need a 6.5-gallon fermenting bucket with a grommeted lid and airlock, siphon transfer tubing, a 5-gallon glass carboy, 6 pounds of dried malt extract, 3 ounces of hops, steeping grains, gypsum and Irish moss, a hydrometer and a thermometer. Oh yeah, and you need a brew pot. Today we're using a modified beer keg and a propane burner, but any 16-quart pot or larger will do for the stovetop at home. Okay, here we go. First, heat 2 gallons of water to 150 degrees Fahrenheit. Steep your specialty grains in a hop bag for 15 to 20 minutes. Remove the grains and bring the water to a rolling boil. Add 2 tablespoons of gypsum to increase water hardness. Now add all the malt extract, stirring constantly to avoid scorching to the bottom of the pot. Shortly after it comes back to a rolling boil, it's going to foam over like crazy. This is called a hot break, and it'll turn your kitchen into a disaster area if you're not ready for it, so watch out. Once the hot break settles back down, that's when the 60-minute timer starts and the hop schedule begins. The first addition is the bittering hops. They boil for the full 60 minutes. The next addition is the flavor hops. They boil for the last 30 minutes. And the last addition is at the 15-minute mark for aroma. We also add the Irish moss now to help clear up the beer. Alright, that's it for the boil. After 60 minutes, we strain the boiled wort into our fermenting bucket. Top it off to the 5-gallon mark. Stir it like mad to oxygenate it. Make sure our temperature is within the specs for the yeast. Get a sample in a test jar. This is for the hydrometer reading. That tells us how much sugar has been dissolved into the solution. Pitch the yeast into the wort, close it up tight, and make sure the airlock's half full of water. After 3 or 4 days, when activity drops off in the airlock, we're going to gently rack the beer off the yeast sediment into our glass carboy. This recipe calls for dry hopping, where we sink even more hops into the secondary fermenter until the beer is done, which is usually about 5 to 7 more days. At that point, it's racked again into bottles or kegs, carbonated, and aged several weeks to several months depending on your level of discipline. And you probably know how to handle the remaining steps.